boom, we are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy. I'm Dr. Alan Snyder, and I'm here with my new friend, Ashley Chaney. How are you doing, Ashley?
Hi, I'm so good. I'm hot as heck out here in LA, but I'm very happy to be on Booze Your Daddy.
Thank you. Do you know what any of that means? I didn't really explain too much of it. Do you like Ash, by the way? Is that annoying? Because I hate Al.
Totally
Don't.
fine.
Okay. All right,
I
Ashley.
will not call you Al. Don't worry. I
Yeah,
promise. But
that's
no, I've been called Ash since like forever.
Yeah, people think they're funny with that whole Paul Simon, you can call me Al. And I'm like, no, do not call me Al. Big Al, everybody's pal. We also have like South Park had Big Gay Al. So that was a thing for a while. I was like, not my thing, but okay.
Alan.
Right. So we'll just go right into it before we introduce you. But so Booze Your Daddy, it was more like, so I have a co-host. She's on every other episode. And I like to have guests on to meet new people and do new things. So she's my boo. You know that like term, it's like we're booze. And
Oh, yeah.
because she's female, we're just friends. That works. But it's also booze because I like drinking and I like having something refreshing. So why don't you tell everybody what you're drinking during this session?
Oh, I'm so happy for the show because it gives me an excuse to drink rosé it's 12 o'clock, my time. So normally, that might be frowned upon, but so I'm actually drinking a very California wine. It's called California Roots Rosé. And it's just like I said, it's a heat wave out here. So it's deliciously refreshing and cool and breakfast wine, really.
Breakfast wine, rosé all day. My rule is unless it's a pregame or something, I wait till 12. 12 is my 5 o'clock. I try not to drink. I mean, brunch maybe, but I'm not the person to ever crack a beer before then. I didn't know you were drinking rosé, but I guess I'm happy now because I got a Sierra Nevada Wild Little Thing, slightly sour ale. The can is very pink and beautiful.
Very rosé.
It is very rosé. And I got this because I think Sierra Nevada is a California beer. That was my homage to you. Although this one is brewed in North Carolina. I looked that up earlier today.
Okay, but you have to stop saying Nevada. It's Nevada. Everybody out here on the West Coast, if you say Nevada, they know you are not from here and you don't know what the heck you're talking about. Nevada, like attaboy, Nevada.
You know what, Ashley? How many months did you ever live in Las Vegas? Because I'm at 3. So
Oh God, why?
For physical therapy school, we had to do these rotations, and one of them had to be out of state. And when I was 24 years old, I said, it'd be really fun for a whole summer to live in Las Vegas, Nevada boy.
Nevada boy, there you go. Yeah, and they didn't give you hell for saying Nevada?
No, they take your money and they don't care about anything else in that place.
That's true.
So, yeah, I'm also still hurting a little bit still from last night. So I thought just having one slightly sour would be like a little candy for me. So my favorite sound in the world is the opening of the beer. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
All right, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
Very good. So my story, your story is, we both are in the podcast word field, and I talk to a lot of people. I do a lot of things. I have a long dance card of people who want to come on my show and be guests, whether it's friends or anybody else. But you put out a post, the cover looked interesting enough, and it was about food. So I said, you know what? I'll listen to the trailer. And I was lying in bed one morning, and I went, damn, this girl's really good. So and I think I might have just reached out to her. I said, you're really talented, because I hear different things back from me, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but people go, you got a good voice. You have a good energy. And I think there's a lot of really bad performers out there. I think there's a really bad podcast. And I recently have started my own 90 Day Fiance podcast. And
fun.
Yeah, good show. But it's like anytime I've listened to other people, I go, this is really terrible. I can't get through this. So I just want to say first, I think what you're doing is really cool. I think your topic is really cool. And we're going to get into what your podcast is. But I just wanted to say that to you because I think it sounds good. You have a good energy.
Thank you so much. That means a lot because one, you're a fellow podcaster, and two, you said you have a full dance card. So I really am honored to be here, and it's very nice to be here. And, to be honest with you, I think I, like you, without wanting to be judgy or crap all over people. Sometime within the last year, there was this mandate that everybody should have a podcast. Everybody should not have a podcast. If you are so boring to speak to or don't even like talking to people, what are you doing with the podcast? This is all about, this medium in particular, I think, is about connecting with people. It's your chance to be in someone's ear. So you better want to be there and have something to say, and please have somewhat of a voice that doesn't, that's okay to listen to that closely in your ear.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've talked to some other people, and there was one guy who wanted me on his show, and I gave his show a listen. And I came back at him and I said, hey man, he does this podcast, like 4 or 5 people. I said, take this the right way. You got a good voice. You could drop the other 4 people. And he
Oh,
said,
wow.
what do you mean? And I said, like, I know she's your wife, but she's not adding anything to your show. And the one guy just repeats everything. And it's an hour and a half long show. And I said, I'm not trying to offend you. I think you're really good. And yeah, I was not invited back to be on that show ever.
Oh, no.
I mean, he had some excuses about something, which I don't really care too much. But
Right.
the truth is I'm with you. For me, my shows are about a half hour or so. And I think you keep yours like 45 minutes to 50 minutes long.
Yeah. Still playing with it. But I think because, yeah, a 45 feels like maybe the right length for now for our show.
Pretty much. I had one that went long and then I ended up just cutting it and released like a 10-minute mini thing because it was a really good conversation. But it's hard. A lot of people, I know for me, when I download something, it's 20 minutes. I'm like, I can get to that. Now, my big issue, I talk very fast. And it's usually when I get excited. And if you ever hear me talking very slow, any listeners of the show, if you hear me talking slow, it means I'm not into whatever this is. I'm tuned out. I'm not listening. So I listen to all my podcasts at 1.5 and sometimes 2.0 speed. You can't do that for this one. Now, if yours is like that, kudos for you. But I just talk way too fast. And I have a friend who says he does it. Talk about a chipmunk. I am probably like,
what's funny is I had a friend reach out to me and she was like, because I put it out and I very genuinely want to hear from people like, hey, what do you think about the show? Do you like it? Well, what's working? What isn't? And my girlfriend reached out to me. She was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I really like the show. I just have to tell you, like, I think you talk pretty fast. And I've never, when I'm in person, I know that I can get excited and I can start to talk pretty fast. But on the show, even for a while, there's something with my headphones and I had a latency issue. So I was actually talking really slow because I was hearing a bit of an echo. So in my mind, it was very slow. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Turns out she had her podcast on 1.5 speed. And she was like, it wasn't terrible. It was just, it seemed a little fast. I'm like, okay, let me walk you through this. So I know you can listen to it at 1.5 speed, but it sounds pretty chipmunky too.
Yeah. So your obsession is food, right? That's kind of your deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we kind of talked about this and we said, well, what type of food can we really get into? Now, I have a confession to make. They should have meetings for my addiction. It's a terrible thing. And addiction in this world is serious and everybody should take this seriously. But if they had meetings for pizza addicts, I would show up regularly. Hi, my name is Alan and I have a problem.
But I hear you. And I would probably be right there with you, except for mine is like, probably truly it's coffee. Like truly coffee is the thing I'm addicted to. I can't live without it, but pizza is probably a close second or third. I love pizza big time.
Right. So I'm with you. Coffee every day for me. I don't even consider that anymore. Like I have coffee. Coffee has to happen. But then it's like that for me, coffee is not even a conscious decision. That's a necessity. I brush my teeth, I wait a half hour and then I have coffee.
See, you at least you brush your teeth first. I don't. I go straight over to I got a fancy espresso machine and it's like the gift of all gifts. The only thing is about 3 weeks ago, because, I've been a little bit stressed and not sleeping so great. And I had a nutritionist tell me, well, what's your coffee intake like? And I was literally laughed. I was like, that's funny because I drink so much coffee. And so I actually had to cut it out. So I switched to, first off, I went no coffee. It was horrible. And now I'm on decaf and it's not the same.
Yeah. Did you get through like the shakes or you're like, I need my fix. I need my Starbucks.
I honestly had a really, really bad headache for the first week. And I do like beyond just the physical missing of caffeine, which is real.
It's a drug. Yeah.
It's totally a drug. Yeah. And it's like, there's nothing better than a hot cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, there's just not. And so I will be back to coffee very soon, but I told her I would try it for 30 days. So.
All right. So what would you say your favorite food is? I mean, this is a generic question. You could pick 3. Like, is there
Yeah. Okay. So it would be the one I'm eating. It's whatever I'm eating. I love, genuinely, that's why I created a show about food, is because I love eating, period. I knew you were going to ask like what your favorite food is. And so
it's a bad question. It was just to get the ball rolling. I have my own, deeper topics.
It's not a bad question, but it's an impossible one to answer because it's truly whatever I'm eating at the moment. I'm always so stoked to be eating. Like I'm always like, yes, snack time. I plan my entire day around food. I will like plan activities around food. It's really, really a huge part of my life. But I think, you'll never present me with a chocolate chip cookie that I don't like. I mean,
Okay.
you'd be hard pressed to put it. Yeah. You really have to mess up a chocolate chip cookie for me to not love it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I say that to my patients when I'm around the Upper West Side here in Manhattan, and they'll say, I saw you the other day and you were totally ignored me. I said, I probably was just thinking about lunch or something. I mean, it's nothing personal. So the follow-up then for that is, because I also love food, is alive or dead. What is you're going to the electric chair, you get to pick 3 things or 3 meals. What is your, because I asked this question to a bunch of people, and one of my friends goes, bald eagle, which is a great answer by him, because I said, why? He goes, I don't know, because I'm dying and I don't care, and let's just taste a bald eagle. I thought that was very unique. One of my good friends, his wife says, baked ziti by my grandmother who died 10 years ago. And I said, that's a great answer. So
that is a great answer.
You get 3 things. You're now electric chair.
Great. Wow. Okay. This is great. So 3 things. I'm going to start with, and I'll just preface this by saying I don't have a lot of great chefs in my family. So a lot of this is self-taught. I wish I had like a thing that was, there's one family recipe, which I'll get to, but I know how to make it now. But I would start the morning off, if I'm getting 3 things, I would start the meal off with these crepes from this restaurant in Paris, which I thought that was the most cliche thing. Oh, you want crepes from Paris? But when I finally got to go for the first time ever last year to Paris, I had this crepe that was so good. It was almond. It was an almond like roca crepe, and it was like a sweet crepe. I have a bit of a sweet tooth. And I remember thinking, this is so stupid. This is so cliche. Why am I ordering this? But it was so good that when I took a bite of my first bite of the crepe, my mouth like started watering, and I was so overcome with emotion because it was the best thing I've ever tasted that I had to put my fork down, push the plate away, and like take a moment to just be with that crepe. It was so good. And it was like, we're sitting on the streets of this place that looks like a Disney set. It doesn't even look real. Electric chair, I'm going to that crepe spot in France.
I love the emotion. What there was a movie years ago where whatever emotion she had went into her food. Yeah. What movie was that? I'm blanking.
Simply Irresistible, like Water for Chocolate.
I think it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? She was
Sarah
Simply
Michelle
Irresistible.
Gellar was Simply Irresistible. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally. I'm straight. Maybe I saw it or something. I definitely watched that movie more than once.
It's okay.
I have. And when she's crying and people cry, that's really cool. Like the emotion of it, maybe a little bit much for me. But you know what somebody said to me one time, and I was on this date years ago, and I was talking to this girl, and she said something like, people who are so loud during Boom Boom, she goes, it's ridiculous. It's so fake. And I said, well, I don't think it's always fake. And she goes, no, compare it to eating. When the chef comes over and puts something down in front of you, oh my God, this is incredible. I love it. It's so good. She says, have you ever been at home in your room with food, eaten it, and made a sound? And I went, yeah, I definitely have. I have.
100%. 100%. Like I definitely did it in that cafe in Paris. Yeah. It's like, it is. So funny enough, we haven't talked about my history in the entertainment industry, but I have a colored history in the entertainment industry.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it. I mean, I know what you do clearly from like your Instagram or whatever. So like, I'm a doctor. I don't talk about doctor stuff on here because life is more important than our jobs. And it's the same thing where when you're interviewing somebody, when you're getting to know somebody, like it's the worst thing in the world. If you want to go for it, go for it. I thought we were going food for 30 minutes and whatever but it's your world. Go ahead, Ash.
Well, it's all sort of the intersection of entertainment and food and crafting stories. So I do actually think there is some intersection here. But what I was going to say about food, and particularly the correlation to boom boom sound effects or boom boom time, is that I've worked with photographers, and whenever we're shooting, and let's say that they ask, okay, we want this to look to be a little bit sexy. So they're not going to say, okay, seduce the camera. That's not what does it. The trick that they say is, think about the best meal you've ever eaten. And then they take the shot, and that's the sexy photo, because that's what you're thinking about and what you're craving is. There's a huge tie-in. So I challenge your friend who doesn't think. I'm a little bit sad for her.
Yeah, we went on 3 dates. We'll never speak again. Okay. But real quickly, people in this podcast now are going to hear that you just talked about when it's boom, 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 tao. And then when it's the time for the picture, real quickly, because they're going, does he have a porn star on his show right now?
No.
I'm just saying, if you don't know what you do, what you haven't said, it could sound like he is interviewing a porn star about eating.
Oh my God, no, not even a little bit. No, but I'm a producer and a host and an actor. So sometimes I'm behind the camera, sometimes I'm in front of the camera.
With your
When
clothes on. Yes.
well, fully clothed, nobody needs that. And so, whether I'm directing like talent to get there and working with the photographer, or whether I'm on the other side of the camera, like for example, my last headshot session, which actually those are due for being updated, but that was one of the things that the photographer, he's like, okay, you know what I'm going to say next. Let's get this one a little bit, sexy time. So what's your favorite food? And I was like, got you.
I love that, just from learning things. Like they had on the Bachelorette last season, this model on there, and somebody says, well, how do you make that face? She goes, I just say prune and just freeze. She's like, prune. And she puts her lips together and I went, oh, that's the model look. It is like that.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But the little things are cute. I have a niece and she struggled to smile growing up. Like most kids are not so good at like smile for the camera. And even when they do the cheese, it's like cheese and it looks so forced. My sister used to say, pretend to laugh, and she would go and usually you could get a decent shot within her fake laugh.
Yeah. Oh, so or maybe she actually really started laughing at how silly the laugh was.
Nah, she's kind of a bitch actually, but
well.
She's 11. So it's interesting so you mentioned the crepe. We'll leave that. I'm not going to force you for more, but you said you really have a sweet tooth. Now, the topic of today is going to be pizza. Here's my deal. If I was locked inside of a candy store for multiple days, I may die of starvation. I'm sorry. People love chocolate. People love this. It's just not my thing. But if you got a large pizza and a 6-pack of beer for the two of us, you might go hungry if you walk to the bathroom and come back. Like it just might be gone. Like that's how I roll. So I went ahead and did some research here. Now I could throw out to you. Can you want me to list the types of pizza before we get into what you prefer? Because I did a little research and I had no idea there were so many types of pizza in the U.S.
Well, yeah, you can say, I will categorically say there are like 4, and I'm being generous with the 4.
Go ahead. What are the 4
types? So if we're talking about pizza, and I know that you're going to have some, well, I don't know, but I assume you're going to have some like really craft kind of list. But the pizza if I'm talking about pizza, there's really 3 types, a 4th if I'm being bougie. Thin crust, like traditional, regular style pizza. Deep dish, thin crust, traditional, what I call New York style pizza, or deep dish. And then if you're being bougie, you've got your like wood oven fired grilled pizza. And those are usually the ones with like the fancy kind of bougie toppings, like your burrata and peach and stuff like that. So if you ask me, I hang out in the regular traditional New York style pizza. Deep dish can go fly a kite. I don't want anything to do with deep dish. I'm sorry. We'll talk about it.
All right. Well, this has been a great time. Thank you so much for the show. Don't forget to follow us. Smash the like. What? Deep dish? It has a place.
No, that's like a pie. It's like an abomination of what pizza should be able to be folded and eaten sideways. And as a New Yorker, I'm ashamed that you don't agree.
Well, here's the problem. Not originally from New York. Just been here for 12 years.
There it is. Where are you from?
I'm originally a Baltimorean from Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. So I'm more of a seafoody person, but I do like pizza. Now, this is where I'm a slut. I am now one of my friends has a t-shirt that says pizza slut on it, and I would have given money to get it before he did because I can't buy it now. But that's not that seriously. Like I've only ever had one pizza in my life that I was like, nope, can't eat this, inedible, like a regular pizza that just had it was at this terrible bar in Manhattan Midtown. It's called Stout. It's really bad, but the rest of the types of pizza I'm into. I am so into. Now I am really happy because you did not name one that I really want to talk about. So real quickly, the list I got, number 1, not in any order, just listing it. It's the original Neapolitan, which is wood-fired brick oven pizza, which I enjoy that a lot. People think brick oven means like better. Not so much. Number 2 on the list, they call California pizza. Now that's the artisan. That's when they put, quote, unusual ingredients on a pizza. Yes. Nope, not into that, but I get it. Number 3 is Chicago deep dish. Now I have a friend who lives in Chicago. I had it for the first time last year. I agree with you. It's meant for a specific thing, but you can only have like a slice or 2 where
How can you even get through the first slice? Holy cow. It's
it was a quiche, but I'm a big fan of corporate food, and we have Pizzeria Uno's here, and I find that that's a good intermediary of pizza and official Chicago style pizza.
Okay.
I enjoy the Chicago deep dish, and then they actually say that the thin crust, the cracker, if you will, the crispy,
Yeah.
the crunchy, is also Chicago style thin pizza, which I'm not into that so much. Being Jewish, I've had enough matzah pizza in my life that I just don't need more of that.
See,
It
I like it. I like matzo pizza. I like the thin crust. I will say that I'm ashamed to know that like Domino's, the pizza chain Domino's, actually makes like a really good, or I mean, I'm sure it's terrible for you, but it's pretty good tasting. Thin crust, kind of that cracker crust, might even remind you of matzo pizza, which I like.
So I live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan here, and I've said this story many times to people. Domino's Pizza is the best pizza in my neighborhood because we have a couple of these pop-up places. Now, Domino's makes a pan pizza that is legit good. It's enough bread, it's very good, and I'm going to tie that into the end. But I don't love their cracker pizza, but I'm with you. I like the Pizza Hut better, but we don't have Pizza Hut here in Manhattan. Let me skip number 5 because that's where I'm going with this. Number 6, they say, is Greek-style pizza, which is a New England thing. It basically means like more feta on it, more olives. It's kind of like if you picked a Neapolitan with Greeky style things. Nope, not eating that. Number 7 is New York pizza, which they say is a big doughy slice that you fold in half to eat, which I'm in. I like it. We have one of those in my neighborhood that's pretty good. It's a little far up the way, but I like a good doughy slice that's a little salty. I'm into that as well. Yep. Number 8, I'd never heard of. It's called St. Louis style pizza, where they use something called Provel cheese. And Provel cheese is a mixture between cheddar, mozzarella, or mozzarella if you're not being pretentious, and provolone. And it makes this mix there. I've never had that. When in Rome, if I'm in St. Louis, I'm probably getting the barbecue, so I don't know if I'll ever have that.
Exactly. St. Louis does their own everything, St. Louis style whatever. So they're like a category in and of themselves. So we'll let them have it.
And then number 9, they called something called a tomato pie, which is apparently a Jersey thing. And that's basically no cheese. So there's a place by me that does a Sicilian tomato pie, and it's actually pretty good. But I quickly want to just say they didn't put white pizza in this, but I am not into white pizza. So I don't care.
I don't like white pizza either. Same like I don't like white chocolate. It's like, just be whatever the thing is that you want to be. Don't be white chocolate. Don't be white pizza. Just be pizza or be chocolate.
This sounds like your therapist.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to. It's just food here, folks. But
just be here. There's Mitch Hedberg, one of my favorite comedians, had a joke where he was talking about like turkeys growing up, where you draw turkeys with your hand, and he goes, "Listen, you don't have to be any different, buddy. I like you the way you are. Like, it's really funny. That kind of reminds me of that. But little fun fact: one of my nicknames growing up was White Chocolate. So,
oh boy, white chocolate.
Yeah, not so good. But coming back to number 5, which is where I want to talk about, is Detroit style pizza. Have you heard of it? Have you had it?
So Detroit is also its own interesting culinary sort of landscape. They have some incredible, very specific Detroit foods. Detroit style pizza is not the thing I would think of. I would think of like a coney. Their
coney dog. Yeah.
They're hot dogs.
It's not good. I've had one of those too. Yeah. So I had a patient a couple of years ago who told me about this place down in Manhattan they had Detroit style pizza. And it was like, okay, well, what is it? And he goes, you have to go, you have to try it. And I actually went on a first date there, and they had 16 different types of Detroit style pizza. And it was a wine bar. And then they had one hamburger. They had one hamburger there. And I'm a big Yelper. Go on Yelp, see what the reviews say. And it said, get the burger. I'm like, well, that's not really, well, it's like a hoity-toity wine bar. So I went there, and of course I got the burger, and we got a pizza, and the burger was out of this world. Best burger I've ever had. Although that's not the point of this episode, but it was pretzel bread. It had some sauce on it. It had the burger. It is, I since have been back to that restaurant once with other people, and they also were like, best burger I've ever had. Pizza, just okay. So that's what it is. So what is Detroit style pizza? It is grandma style. Are you familiar?
No. Grandma style.
Grandma style is a Long Island, New York thing where grandmas would make pizza in cookie tins. So it would be somewhere between a New York style pizza and a Sicilian pizza, because it's not this like massively thick. It's somewhere in the middle. Okay. And then they also like to you put the cheese on, then you put the sauce on, and it makes this nice little layer in the middle. Detroit style pizza, I say when you're done this podcast, Google and see if there's any in California. I highly recommend checking out Detroit style pizza, because it ends up being this pan style where it gets crispy on the outside. It's thinner than Sicilian, but thicker than regular pizza.
Okay.
Very, very, very good.
What's the sauce to cheese ratio on a Detroit style?
Pretty even, I'd say. You can get double cheese if you want. So Domino's makes a pan pizza that's kind of like it. And that's what I was saying, the Domino's. That's one of my more favorite ones here. And New York City does not have good Detroit style pizza. We have this place that my friends have tried to tell me, like, I know this place called Lions, Tigers, and Squares is the name of it.
Shoot.
Exactly. Because it's Sicilian style kind of in the middle there. Not so good. I went to Detroit for a wedding a couple of years ago. Actually, maybe it was last year. And I Googled like the best Detroit style pizza. And it was at this place called Jets. And I take an Uber. We get to this place called Jets. And I figured we'd eat it there. And we get there. And it basically was their version of Domino's. And I was like, oh my God. So we got the pizza, went back to the hotel, ate it. It was fine. It was good. The bad thing is that they have Jets here in Manhattan. I could have just went downtown and gotten that at some point. So
do you watch The Office?
Oh my God, of course.
So
yeah, go ahead. I know the joke, but the best known pizza place right here.
I know, the best spot, the best pizza ever. And of course it's a Sbarro or whatever. Oh, I love that. It still makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's a great reference. It's actually, that Sbarro is right underneath of one of the best kept secrets in Manhattan. I'm a big football fan. I actually didn't even mention, I'm specifically wearing my Dodgers jersey today.
I noticed.
Yeah, I did that because like you're California and you probably don't even like sports with knowing what you do, but it was just more like I need a reason to wear some of these jerseys that I own.
I like the Dodgers, and they, as you well know, probably started out in Brooklyn. So there's a tie between the West Coast and the East Coast.
I totally knew that. That's exactly why I did this. So we went to, wow, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yes, the Sbarro. So we go in Manhattan. I like football. My friends and I, if you want to sit down we have games here at 1:00 for you guys. I think it's like 10, right? 3-hour difference. It is so hard to get a table for 4 people unless you show up 2 hours early for a bar. One time, somebody goes, guys, why don't we just meet in the central location of the city at Hooters? And I was like, I'm not going to Hooters. And they go, let's just go check it out. So we started going to Hooters 3 years ago, where you can get a table for 12, 5 minutes before kickoff. They have sunlight. They have all the games here. The funny part is the beer is actually pretty cheap. It's the food that's so expensive there.
Well, and but their wings are very good. I actually really like Hooters wings.
So that's the joke, is people go, oh, you go there for the wings, huh? And I said, no, the wings have gotten better, because the wings there used to be connected and they had the little feather at the end. And I was not in. Yeah, it used to be like that. They finally now have chopped it off, and I have stopped there for pickup. So anybody who hates on me for you go there for the Hooters, huh? And I'm like, no, I do pickup there. The wings are legit good. The funny thing about being in Manhattan is, if you are a quote Hooters girl, you have a better job. You are a dancer, a stripper, a waitress, a bartender, an actor. You are not working at Hooters. And when we go there, the talent, I've taken my mother there because she's been in town, and she looks over and goes, they are so flat-chested here. Like, what is going on at this Hooters? I'm like, if you're in New York City, you're not working at a Hooters. You can get a better job if you're that type of person.
That's an interesting point. It's been a while. I only lived in New York City two different times. Once on the Upper West Side, 110th, by the way, 110th and Broadway.
I'm on 91, close enough.
Okay. But all I know about New York, I will say perfectly candidly, is it was the most poor I've ever been in my life and the most miserable I've ever been in my life, because it was the summer in New York City. The air conditioning was like a window unit. It was terrible. Everything, the smell of New York in the summer, what is with the heat, like brings up the smell of everything that you might like pass on the street. It's like baked in. The subway just smells like baked urine.
It's exactly what it smells like. Also, you said it was the poorest you've ever been and you didn't love it. New York City is the worst place to be poor in.
Oh my God. Well, I was interning at National Geographic. It was like my dream job. So I would have sold my soul to be there. And I did. And I was so poor. And it was like, you can't do anything without money in New York. At least that's my experience, the way I walked away.
You're right. There's free things to do, but if you have money, it helps life.
Yeah. Like California, if you don't have any money, go to the beach. Like, it's a beautiful day. Go to the beach, go on a hike, like go whatever. In New York, it's like go out in the sweltering humidity for 2 seconds and then die, and then come back inside and just realize that your life is
yeah.
I'm in need of an upgrade.
I am totally with you. So something even close to us, again, I hope you Google Detroit style pizza, but I went to Telluride, Colorado to go skiing 2 years ago with friends, and they had a pizza place there that they're award winning. They have this pie and that pie and whatever. They had Detroit style pizza there that I'll probably post a picture of it on our Instagram, Booze Your Daddy, BOOSYOURDADDY. And I'll probably just send it to you as soon as we're done this. Best pizza I've ever had. Absolutely.
Really?
It was, so we went there on day 2 of a 5-day trip. I had it 2 more times before I left. It was, they had all these signature ricotta and this and this and this. So people on this podcast know my favorite is pine and pep. So it's a Hawaiian style pizza, but instead of the ham, I go pineapple because there's all 5 fruit groups. That's my favorite. But they made this personal pan Detroit style pizza that is out of this world. It's called like Brown Bear, Brown something. If you're ever in Telluride, Colorado, or anywhere near it, the pizza was worth it alone just to go get it. Like highly, highly, highly recommend.
Okay, great. I love pizza recommendations. And I have to give you a pizza recommendation because it's in New York. Have you ever been to Prince Street Pizza?
I just went for the first time. Maybe
what happened?
It was fine. It was good.
Fine?
It was fine. Like it was one of those. So the big thing going on right now in New York City is the tiny little pepperonis that curl up and make a little. So they have that. So we have like these little places now. It's 2 slices and a soda of regular cheese pizza. They're red and white and they're checkered. They're Little Italy, whatever they call them, all over the city. They make a decent one of those slices. And so when I go there, that's what I get. And I went to Prince Street Pizza earlier this year and the line was too long that I couldn't even wait for it. And then during when COVID first hit back before I got sick, like early March, I was training, doing boxing with one of my friends down in Washington Square Park. And I said, you know what? I have nothing to do today. I went over there. I got 3 slices, all the 3 things that they had to try, brought it back home, heated it up, ate it. You're right. It was good. It was fine. That being said, it was close enough to what I can get right across the street that it's not worth the trip.
Okay, I hear you there. I hear you. And I think it's very good too. And it's also a huge craze like out here to get New York style pizza. So people go nuts when they do like pop-ups, Prince Street Pizza pop-ups out here. But you said that you reheated it and no pizza tastes.
No. In a toaster oven. I'm not an imbecile here. It was a pop it in. I put the toaster oven down. I just had to get heat to it. It would have been the same thing. By the way, the pizza they have there is just sitting there. Then they also reheat your pizza too in an oven.
I don't like to think about it.
Oh, okay. Don't ever show up to like a restaurant and be the first customer because that pizza was out all day yesterday.
Oh God. Oh no, this is crushing my pizza dream.
Have you never worked in a restaurant?
I've worked in a restaurant, but I worked at a Chinese restaurant and
oh my God, you probably have better stories. That chicken lo mein is
that's fried rice. If you're ever ordering fried rice, you're ordering 2 or 3 day old rice.
I did know that.
You did know that? Yeah.
Sorry. I'm one of those people I just retain information, but yeah, I am with you on that. Now, another part of our show, and maybe you knew it, maybe you didn't, is we play trivia. And I'm ambushing you and you seem amicable. So we're going to be playing a quick pizza trivia. It's only 5 questions and I want you to know I'm going to help you out. Okay? So pizza trivia. Question number 1. How many pizzas will the average consumer eat per year? Is it A, 5, B, 10, C, 15, or D, 20?
D, 20.
Correct answer is C, 15. Sorry.
Circle, 15.
Circle gets the square. Question number 2. Now, I don't know how much of a sports gambler better you are, but there's something in sports called an over-under. So you just have to say more or less or over-under. So the over-under for the amount of people – the amount of pizzas consumed each year in the U.S. will be over or under 2.5 billion.
2.5 billion. And what is the amount of pizzas consumed by, say that first part again?
All of the United States. Over or under 2.5 billion pizzas consumed each year in the United States.
I'm going to say over because there's more people than that in the United States.
All right. So you are correct because it is 3 billion. So you win by just a little bit. Not like it was like, oh, it's going to be like 8 billion. So
no, because I think there's like 3.5 something billion people in this United States. And so if you figure that like pizza is a very affordable option for people across all income groups, that's a very likely thing. So yes,
all right.
I take that win victoriously.
Question number 3, and I'm going to give you a little generous range here.
Okay.
So I say plus or minus 25,000. How many pizzerias are in the United States? So as long as you're within 25,000, you get credit for this.
How many pizzerias are in the United States? Okay. Let's see. There's 52 states.
Oh, you are thinking way too hard.
Let's say 250,000.
Oh my God. No,
250,000. 250,000.
way less. I'll even help you out and cut your answer in half, and you're still not even close.
Are you
So,
serious?
so it's 70,000. So
No, there's more than that. There's got to be.
Listen, I Googled this, Ashley. Like, what do you want from me? I
I
Googled
just
it.
feel like there's so many pizza places on my street alone that
Oh,
there's more than 70,000.
I mean, maybe there are pizzeria versus pizza place, but I'm sorry, I can't give you the point there. So it's 70,000. I thought 25,000 if you came anywhere as close. All right, I'm gonna help you on this one. Number 4. What is the number 1 day of the year that pizza is eaten? Do you need a hint, or do you have any guesses?
Okay, pizza. So it's probably some type of sporting event. Maybe Super Bowl, but hold on. Pizza. I'll say Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know. Is that right?
So the clue I was going to give you was it's not a holiday, but it should be. And the correct answer is Super Bowl Sunday. Very nice. Number 1 day of the year.
Makes sense.
And number 5, where did the first pizzeria open in 1905 in the United States?
I mean, 1905. Okay, so I'm trying to logic my way into this, but I'm like, were people actually in New York in 1905? Yeah, I would still say New York because that's where so many people, Italians, immigrated. But that's probably wrong because they came further south first. I'll say New York, but it's probably wrong.
It's me. It's a Mario. I'm in New York. I make a pizza. Yeah, absolutely.
Was it? Okay, good.
You almost talked yourself out of that. I was like, what are you doing? Like,
Stop it.
stop. The name of that pizza place is called Lombardi's. I've been there. It's okay. It's just okay. Lombardi's. That's a thing here. For me, my number 1, because people think I hate on everything, is Grimaldi's. I think they actually have them in Nevada, boy. And they definitely have them. I lived in Hoboken, New Jersey for a minute. Grimaldi's, the best. That's my number 1. And you liked it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's the only pizza that I really don't like is Chicago deep dish. I mean, like I have a girlfriend who's like, pizza's like sex. If you're having it, it's good. And I am almost inclined to agree, with the exception of Chicago deep dish. I don't dig Chicago deep dish. And I actually really favor tomato pie. I love more sauce to cheese. And you can fight me on this, but I think that the best like yucky pizza chain is Papa John's because they have way more sauce to cheese ratio. And it's like a little bit sweet. Do you ever mess with Papa John's?
No. Of all the chain pizzas, which I wouldn't kick out of bed, Papa John's is very low on my list, actually. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. But so it sounds like with pizza and your sexual reference, it's the size of the cheese sometimes can make a difference, right? So size matters.
The amount of cheese, yes.
Yep. I feel like we're saying the same thing here.
I'm going to steer you back. The amount of the cheese. I prefer more sauce to cheese, yes.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, this was a ton of fun. Before we sign off, tell people a little bit about your podcast and where they can find you.
Yes. Okay. So Dear Food is truly my love letter to the foods that have shaped our lives. Every episode is dedicated to a different food. And we talk about sort of not just the food itself, but a lot of times the emotions and the feelings that brings up. I think food gets us right in our feels. And this show is really about that. Of course, my entertainment background kind of collides here. So you'll sometimes hear some people in the entertainment industry on the show. Sometimes it'll be, just a regular old person in the world who likes to eat food. But either way, you will definitely find something to relate with each person that we talk to, because everybody loves food. And I think it touches us all in some way, shape, or form.
I think that's beautiful. Well, I'm definitely going to tag you in that and let people know where to find you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was fun. I told you before, I was like, this won't be the worst hour of your day. I guarantee it.
Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Thank you so much for having me.
Very much so. Thanks for listening. Everybody keep following us. We out.
See you later.